Hey everybody! Welcome. Brian, you'll be able to see them actually talk to you, interact with you, so that's the cool thing about it.
Awesome sauce.
But welcome everybody. I don't know if they'll be able to hear me all well, but you know what, I'm going to do this. Just so it's out of my way. And that way, there we go. Yeah, so
Okay.
I'll just bend down a little bit. And
Okay.
that way we can actually hear. And it's up and running. So it says it's up and running. So hopefully,
It actually is.
yeah, I hope people can tune in and whatnot. Let me, real quick, I'm going to send a message to someone I know. And
Your kitty makes noises while it's sleeping.
woohoo! Yeah, he, what was it? Oh, is it Sushi?
Mm-hmm.
Sushi snores. It's the funniest thing in the world. I think she's like chain stoking. I remember that. But I don't know why she does it. It is the funniest and cutest thing. So, I can actually check this out, actually. Give me 1 second here.
No, it's okay. You don't
So-
have to.
Well, no, I'm going to check out the stream, make sure that, yeah, it's showing that it's live, so... I'm just making
Alright.
sure.
There's still
Yeah, it's working. So, hey everybody, welcome. I got my friend Sean here.
Sean?
Ah,
Hi! My name is Brian.
he's got
I'm
a
not
new name, Sean. Hey, what's up? California or Canada? California? I hope I got that right. I apologize if not. Hey, Sean, what's up, man? I got Sean. That's why I saw the name, and oh my god, dude, I'm losing it.
Don't worry,
it.
it's all good.
My friend Brian here, he's like me, a huge gamer, like the majority of you guys, and we're trying to do a Game Ahead Radio. I'm trying to record it, but the computer's having difficulty today. So
Hi, people.
He's waving to you so you can see. I'm going to set the camera up later on to kind of do the whole room. I just wanted to do something here for you guys tonight. And we've been talking about, doing this for quite a while. And Brian's like, yeah, let's do it tonight. So I'm like, okay, cool. So, you lost it long time ago, Del. Yeah, no, I never had it to begin with. So, but yeah, welcome everybody. I'm so glad you guys could join us. It is an absolute honor to have Brian here. And we're going to be talking about some stuff on Gamehead Radio that you guys talked about just recently. I got emails and some really cool voice messages from people asking some questions about certain DC and Marvel characters that you guys would like to see go at it. And I brought Brian on because he's always got a unique perspective on certain characters for DC and Marvel, and I always thought that it would be kind of cool to have him on this. So, alright, so we're going to begin, and hopefully you guys, again, can hear us pretty good. One of the first battles that someone mentioned would be a Marvel battle, and I thought this was kind of cool. Marvel, Wolverine versus Deadpool. Who would win in a fight to the death?
That is actually a very good question. You got to consider both parties have accelerated healing abilities, but can Wolverine survive, like, if you're including what we saw in the movie, being torn in half, could he do that?
And we know from evidence that Deadpool can survive being torn in half, because the way his body regenerates, he can literally be blown up and regenerate his whole body.
Just like a chameleon.
But the problem is, with Wolverine, with that adamantium skeleton, can he actually recover with all of that metal being exposed to elements? That's a good question. So, first off is the weapons we gotta talk about. So we got Deadpool's swords and guns versus Wolverine's claws and rage. So, out of the two, I'm sorry about that, my phone just said,
It's
hi
all
guys.
good.
But out of the two, which one do you think would probably be the advantage?
I would say Deadpool.
Okay. And the reason for that?
Like previously stated, he would be able to regenerate and being exposed to many different things, he's basically a walking... I said chameleon earlier.
Yeah. You said chameleon.
No, it's more of a newt.
Yeah.
That can regenerate its body parts.
Which, I mean, yeah, that's the one thing. You know, Deadpool being able to regenerate actually has a pretty good regeneration, ability. I think it's actually faster than Wolverine, if I remember correctly from the comics. Now, if I'm wrong, please let me know.
Sean is saying it would be a stalemate.
You think it would be an even battle to where both of them simply just kept like trying to kill each other for hours and hours on end with nobody winning? So I just want to clarify that. But yeah, I honestly think that in terms of advantage, Deadpool has a little bit more of an advantage over Wolverine. One, patience. He's a lot more patient. Wolverine does not like comedy. Does not like...
No, he would rather just go and say, "Oh, I'm going to break you, stab you, and just call it a day."
Yeah.
Rather than Deadpool be like, "Hey, what's going on? How you doing?" I heard this one story. Oh, wait, bam, dead.
Yeah, and that's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand is that, with how Wolverine is designed, those claws that he has, they go all the way down to his bone. So you have to ask the question, if that particular metal gets damaged, gets ripped off, let's say a katana, it's supposed to be indestructible. Let's say, for example, if the katana is able to take a chunk of that off, when it goes back into the skin, is that going to damage Wolverine further than if it had been a complete claw coming out? You know what I mean? Then you have to take into consideration also of Wolverine's ability to show that just massive rage that he has. That blood rage that he has, I mean, you're talking about a man that can go for hours and hours and hours of killing.
Uh-huh.
And then all of a sudden it goes away and he's like a normal person. Deadpool, unfortunately, doesn't have that. So, yes, no. Yes, no, maybe so. But yeah, I mean, I think of those particular two, if I had to put the advantage, I think it would be with Deadpool. But I'm not saying that Wolverine couldn't kill Deadpool. I'm just saying I think it would be a lot more difficult for him to kill Wolverine. I think he would have to decapitate him.
And as we saw in X-Men Origins, the only one person that was able to do any type of physical harm to Wolverine was making a adamantium super suit that would totally slice off his claws and heat up the metal at the same time.
Yeah. So I think, just my opinion, I think Deadpool's got the advantage, and I think Wolverine has the disadvantage, and I think if a battle were to happen right now, today, as it stands, I think Deadpool would be the winner.
I would have to agree, but there you gotta admit one thing, and that would be they would put up one amazing battle that just is going to be epic.
It would be an epic battle. I mean, that's the type of battle that would, they would spend hours and hours and hours just trying to, like, destroy each other. And, don't mind me, I'm trying to plug in shit. So we can use the microphones. They're standing in front of us. You could probably see the microphone stand here. So, there we go. We're setting up Snowball. Alright, so I got my microphones. I'm going to record this and actually put this on the podcast for Gamehead Radio so you guys can listen to it later. And, let's see here. I already know all this stuff. Alright. Alright, let's see. Alright. Let's see if this actually...
Wants to work?
All right, it's saying it's actually on. The microphones are working. So, woohoo. So now we can actually use these microphones. So, woohoo, man.
All right.
So, all right, microphones are working. It says that it's working on here, at least on my end. Is it red on yours?
Yes, I got a red dot.
All right, awesome. So this is actually going to go on Game Ahead Radio, and we're going to talk about another subject that someone actually suggested, and I thought this was a really cool little concept. If I had to take either person, I would take Wolverine. All right, hey man, there's no right or wrong answer on this. There literally isn't, because there's no way to accurately display whether or not one person would win over the other. It's just a personal opinion, personal preference, you could say. Brian, you can get closer to the microphone. Right?
Which one would you party with?
Which one would I party with? Oh,
yeah.
Wolverine.
I'd go with Deadpool.
I'd go with Wolverine just because of how much the man can drink. I mean,
I would go with Deadpool. I mean, he could drink you under the table, give you a couple drops of his blood, bring you back, and say, let's keep going.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. From the comic, from what I understood, Deadpool cannot get drunk at all because his body heals almost instantaneously.
Yeah.
Wolverine's body doesn't heal as quickly, and that's why I think Deadpool's got a little bit of the advantage. But yeah, again, there's no right or wrong answer for the who would win in a death match. But the other thing that somebody brought up to my attention, they said, okay, so let's put it, you choose Deathstroke versus the Punisher. Who would win in a death match?
Okay, now you're talking about two brilliant tacticians that have years of merc hits underneath their belt.
That is correct.
And on top of that, you also have their expert knowledge in hand-to-hand combat, and also in many, many different instances of just pointing and shooting versus showing mercy.
So we have to consider the two other main factors: the guns and weapons that they use.
Yes.
And then we also have to consider the gruesomeness of both of them. One is more gruesome than the other.
Oh yeah, that's oh shite.
Shite.
Shite. I just totally forgot. Yes, most definitely one is more gruesome than the other. The other one shows more leniency, but tells you knock that crap off before you do anything else.
Yes. So, who do you think is more brutal? Do you think Frank Castle, Punisher, is more brutal? Or, I believe his name is Wilson Slade, if I remember.
Slade is more brutal.
You think Slade's more brutal?
Yeah.
Okay. The reason I think Punisher's as equally brutal, because when he took out some of the mob members in the comics, I don't know if you saw Punisher Warzone. Do you remember seeing that film that came out?
No, I did not.
Deathstroke would win. Okay, it's okay. There's no right or wrong answer for it. So, in the Punisher Warzone movie, there's a scene at the very beginning of the movie where Frank walks up and twists the neck of, I believe it's a woman, older woman. He literally twists the neck all the way to a 90-degree diagonal, okay, direction. The reason I'm saying that he's just as brutal is because of what he was able to do with just that amount of force. I mean, to take an actual neck and pull it in such a way, you have to have a very strong arm strength, grip, and then you also have to understand, you know, the resistance from the resistance of the muscle, the tissue, the tendons that are all in the neck. Plus, you also have to turn the bone all the way around. So, from a medical standpoint, he's got to be really strong.
That same could be said for Deathstroke in that opinion, because Deathstroke also has all that knowledge and what's the word? combat history as well.
Yeah, yeah.
It literally can go either way for either one.
Yeah. So, Deathstroke, I think, and again, this is just my personal opinion, please don't kill me. I think Deathstroke's weapons are his strength. His guns, especially that sniper rifle that he loves to use.
Oh, yeah.
His staff, his bow staff in the comic book, is also on the...
Oh, there's no question about that.
My only concern with Punisher going against Deathstroke is who's going to pull out the guns first. Because we know in the comics, Punisher almost instantaneously pulls out guns. So does Deathstroke. So you got two characters that are known for just immediately going for guns instead of going into hand-to-hand combat. Now, who's got the advantage in terms of hand-to-hand combat? Easily Deathstroke. Deathstroke, I think, has got the advantage because, one, he's got the more training. Punisher really doesn't have the military training that Deathstroke has had. I believe he was trained in a military facility while he was being experimented on, which that's what the experiment led to. From what I understood from the comics, and again, I'm not a Deathstroke expert, I should say, but from what I remember in the comics, no, Sterling, you don't want to go up there. Cat wants to jump up on the table. But in terms of the experiment, it was supposed to increase his strength, speed, and endurance, from what I understood. That has to kind of give me a little bit more leaning towards Deathstroke winning because he's got three advantages that Punisher simply does not have. But Punisher also has three things that Deathstroke does not have. Number one, patience.
That's true.
Deathstroke is not known for patience in any of the comic books, nor is he because he's a contract killer. He goes after the contract, and that's number one priority for him. Number two, Punisher has the means to get the weapons. He can get updated weapons, futuristic weapons, because of the contacts he has with police departments and people within the organizations that have that type of military weapon cache. He can get weapons that, simply put, Deathstroke would have to spend a lot more money on in order to acquire. And the third advantage I think Punisher has over Deathstroke is that with Punisher, and my microphone is actually falling over here. Don't you just love that?
Yes, honestly, I do.
But the thing that Punisher has that I actually love, I might be going the wrong way on that one, but what I love is the third advantage, I think, is his ability to understand his enemy and the tactician part. Even though Deathstroke is a tactician, I think Punisher has a little bit more knowledge in that, so...
Yeah, he does, but going back to the point you previously made, experiment that went wrong, how do you know that for sure? How do you know it didn't go horribly right?
Yeah, and Sean brings up a good point. Deathstroke has taken down Batman before in the comics.
I am
Batman. I am Batman. I am the Dark Knight.
Fear me.
Fear my lovely little taco. So, yes, Alfred makes me tacos every night.
That explains why you're so gassy.
That's why whenever he's in the Batmobile, it's called a bat squeaker. He goes up to enemies and... Sorry about that. Oh God, get me out of here! Put me in the jail! So, but all kidding aside, yes, Deathstroke has destroyed Batman many, many, many times. And there is no doubt that he has done some pretty good stuff in terms of, you know, what he's been able to do. And, you know, I can't knock what he's been able to do. I mean...
Oh, no, he's been able to do quite a bit on his own.
Oh,
without any type of issues. But at the same time, can you really forgive a person's past?
And that's the thing that a lot of people don't seem to understand. And again, if my microphone seems a little odd, it's because I'm trying to adjust my microphone stand here. It does not want to cooperate today. But yeah, so I honestly, between the two, who do you think would be the winner?
I'm still going with Deathstroke.
I'm going with Deathstroke too. Even though I'm a Punisher fan through and through, I think out of the two, I think we got a win for Deathstroke, and I think Deathstroke would just...
A little side note with Punisher, though. He has a little more motivation than Deathstroke.
Yes, because his family was killed by...
mercenaries.
Yeah, mercenaries, and technically, well, it depends on the thing. Me three, Sean. Well, I'm glad we have an agreement on that. But yeah, he the mob in one of the comics killed his family. Then another one, it was a group of mercenaries. And then, if I remember correctly, it was something else. Somebody else had killed his family in one of the things. So, I mean, again, it really is all into interpretation. But I mean,
this is only personal opinions that we all have.
Yeah. So, all right. Here's the next one that a lot of people have asked me about. Ghost Rider versus Scorpion from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is definitely an interesting one, to say the least.
It is.
So, you got two very, I'm going to say, gifted fire element characters.
Gifted? No. One made a deal with the devil, and the other one was raised from Hell's Pit.
Yeah, so you got one that was trained and is one of the best characters. I know we said we were going to talk about DC, but I wanted to bring this up because DC and Marvel, yes, they're awesome, but there are other characters that were brought up, and I thought maybe we should talk about this. So you got a character that was raised, trained through, like, God knows what type of martial arts and, you know, all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got another character that may not be trained in martial arts, but when he made that deal with the devil, he gained so much shit.
Oh, yeah. And Sean is saying Ghost Rider
for the win. Okay. So we have to look at the powers of the persons, and then we also have to look at the advantage of the person. So I think, and I'll go through the advantages that I think. I think Ghost Rider has the advantage over Scorpion. And the reason I'm saying this is because that bike of his, everybody knows that bike. Everybody knows that iconic Ghost Rider bike that he had in the comic, where it would change shape and grow more powerful the more people that he went to liberate. So every time that he got on that bike, Scorpion does not have that advantage. He has one set of powers, and that's it. So,
but who's to say if Scorpion had the chance, could he do that?
Yeah, could he grow more power? Yes, it's possible with Quan Chi's medal that he had.
Yes.
I can't remember the name of it.
I believe it was called the amulet.
And it was called the amulet, but I think there was a name for it. I can't remember the name offhand, so I apologize for everybody that's probably grilling me right now on Game Ahead Radio and be like, these guys are idiots! You know, so
we're not idiots. We're special.
So, with that particular medallion, could Scorpion gain power and actually take over Ghost Rider? Yes, I think it's possible, very probable that could happen.
Mm-hmm.
I was just saying, you may want to move the microphone a little bit.
Oh.
Just, you know, you can just move it, man. You should be able to move it a little bit closer to you.
I don't want to have it drop like it's going to.
Oh, it's going to do it. All right. Well, then
No.
I can move the table, man.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I can move the table.
Are you sure?
See, we can move the table so it's a little closer so everybody can hear you. But, hey, Shadow Gang, Den Gaming, welcome, man. We were actually talking about some matchups, and right now we're talking about Scorpion versus Ghost Rider. Someone actually brought this up. So, Scorpion's if he can get the medallion, which is very rare, it's very possible that he could win against Ghost Rider.
Yeah.
But I think Ghost Rider has the advantage because he's got that bike and those powers that amplify whenever he does good or whenever he... I can't remember if he steals the soul of the person or if
he
burns
does the
through it.
pen and stare.
Yeah, and then it burns the eyeballs out, if I remember correctly.
No, it keeps the eyeballs in. It just burns them, and it turns all black, and like it's smoldering.
Well, someone told me they thought that it could steal a person's soul. So if it's possible...
No, that's Katana's blade from the Suicide Squad.
Okay, I am aware of that, so... But, again, someone told me this. If it's incorrect information, I'm so sorry. You have no idea.
It's okay.
But, again, Shadow Den Gaming, welcome, man. But, yeah, so... If I had to give the advantage, I think it would be Ghost Rider. Just based on what I've seen in terms of power. Now, again, I'm not saying that Scorpion can't do the job. I'm just saying that it'd be a little bit more difficult.
Ghost Rider definitely is driven not by revenge like Scorpion is. Ghost Rider is more driven by actually going out and trying to make a better difference in the world.
Yeah.
Scorpion is basically your average hellspawn that just wants to go out, collect a couple dozen souls, and call it a day.
Yeah. The other thing that I always go back to is that Scorpion's rage that he has.
He has extreme amount of rage.
So, could that be an advantage in terms of taking down Ghost Rider with enough of it? Because we've seen it with Sub-Zero. Literally his... I can't remember.
The pen and stare can steal the soul of Scorpion.
See, I thought someone had told me that it could steal people's souls.
I'm not...
You're not an expert, I'm not an expert,
No. I'm just going off of what I've seen or have read from the past.
I mean, I've seen the 2 movies that came out.
That's not bad.
Yeah. I didn't think Nick Cage did a bad job on it.
No, he didn't. But in the second one, building off of the movie part, you got Ghost Rider who discovers that he was originally an angel.
Yeah.
That was driven insane.
Yeah. I remember reading about that in the comics.
So, when you think about that, if he's an angel that was driven insane, kind of like God casting out Lucifer, then what's the difference between an angel and Ghost Rider?
Yeah, really. I mean, there's really no determination factor from there. So...
Now, putting that in the matchup with the Ghost Rider versus Scorpion, that's basically an angel with fire abilities going up and attacking a demonic demon with fire abilities.
Yep, I mean, you hit the nail right on the head, I think, you know? And that's why I brought Brian on here, because you have such unique perspective.
It's just a thought. That's all it is.
Leatherface is like, oh no!
It's all good. Here, I'll push a button, make sure he does something.
Yeah, so, which one is this one? Oh, that's Jason. Yeah, there we go, we got some punches.
Get out of here!
So we put Mortal Kombat X on, obviously, guys, because it is Halloween and we're talking about different matchups. So, in terms of horror characters, let's go back real quick to Sub-Zero. That's Sub-Zero. Oh, God, I'm such an idiot today. Scorpion versus Ghost Rider. Who do you pick for your winner?
I would go Ghost Angel Rider.
Okay, you're going Ghost Rider. I'm going with Ghost Rider too, only because of the powers that Ghost Rider has. I think there's just a much bigger advantage over that particular thing. So, Alright, so play with you if you were inviting people. I just don't have the DLC characters. Yeah, I have all the DLC characters, and that's the cool thing. I can actually share them. So anytime you want to jump on and actually play the extra DLC characters, just let me know. I'll gladly let you borrow them. So another one that was brought up to my attention is because it's Halloween, and someone brought this up, and I thought this would be a really good matchup. So we're looking at Jason Voorhees versus, now this one kind of threw me for a loop, Thanos.
Oh, jeez. Thanos has the, I'm going to say, more of a ability to tell you what he's going to do.
Uh-huh.
Versus Jason, who was just going to say, that person's bothering me, I'm going to do, bam, dead.
Yeah.
But then again, Jason's motive for killing is nobody was actually paying attention to him, and he was deformed as a child.
Oh yeah. I'm just checking out the thing, but definitely down to give one a try. I haven't put much time into this game, but trying out the DLC characters would be fun. I'll get my butt kicked. Don't worry about it, dude. It's all fun in games.
Honestly, I suck at video games. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, even if you suck, I mean, it's just a lot. Which Thanos? People told me the one with
before
the Infinity Glove.
Okay.
So I'm gonna go with Jason Voorhees on this one, and the reason I'm gonna do that is because one, we know Jason's powers. We know some of them. We know that he has a regenerative ability, kind of like Wolverine, kind of like Deadpool.
He can weigh in this on
way too much to type. I get that, man. So I think Jason would have the advantage on this particular thing because of the regeneration properties of Mr. Voorhees. I think based on his gruesomeness, how he's able to kill people, and what we learned in the one Marvel movie, Thanos can be easily killed.
Yes, by literally taking his head off.
It's okay, Bubba. Yeah, my dog just, he sat down and he's like, you know what, I'm done. Screw you guys.
Guy, he stopped scratching my ear, which was so wild.
He's like, you guys suck. I liked him scratching my ear.
It's all good.
You guys can't see my dog, but he's underneath the actual table down here. But, alright, let's go back. We know Thanos can be killed because in the movie he gets killed. Who was it? I think
Thor.
It was Thor.
With not Mjolnir, but like an axe hammer. I'm spacing right now.
Yeah, it's okay. But we know he gets killed, and we know it's possible to kill him, and then they actually have to, I think, go back in time, and they figure out how to do it to stop him.
Yeah, but then, with that, you gotta consider in his daughter, not... Which one is it? Oh, jeez.
Which one is it?
Oh, God. You got Gamora and Nebula. That's it.
Yep.
Nebula, if she was never taken back, then he would have never found his way to the future. Stormbreaker. Thank you, Sean.
Yeah, thank you, Sean, for that one. So, I would go with Jason on this one, again, because of his power, because of his kill streak, and because of the fact he can regenerate. Now, we do have to talk about, Thanos. If he gets the Infinity Stones.
Oh, Infinity Stones, Jason's dead in a matter of seconds.
But, my thing is, what if he can't kill Jason? What if he can only temporarily stop Jason or immobilize Jason? The Infinity Stones cannot even kill Jason. That's a question that becomes relevant because look what happened with Freddy versus Jason. Mm-hmm. Freddy did everything he could in his world to try to kill Jason and couldn't do it.
No, but Jason did, if you saw at the end of the movie, I'm going off movie here,
yeah.
so.
Yeah.
Freddy, he literally did launch torpedoes basically at him.
It was air tanks. I remember that.
Air tanks. Then he's got a bunch of rebar that he used as an arrow rain.
Yeah.
Just going down on Jason.
Yeah.
And literally had put a giant metal storage container down a shaft while he was still impaled.
Yeah.
And literally tried to kill him like that, and Jason just got back up. Granted, he was bleeding like a stuck pig.
Yeah.
But he still got back up.
He still got back up and was able to kill Freddy at the end by using his glove and actually putting it through him. And then you see at the ending credits with Jason walking with Freddy's head, if you remember.
And Freddy's head, his eye blinked.
Yeah, like, he's in the dream world now, you know? So, I mean, you have to consider...
Much like in Mortal Kombat, when you had, when Freddy Krueger had won the competition altogether, Nightwolf thought he was too much of a dangerous threat in the material world, so he put him back in the dream world.
Sean just wrote that I'm a comic book nerd, and that's why I love you, buddy.
At the Valley Gem.
Jason. That's very possible. But here's a thing that somebody brought this up, and I thought this is a great theory about this. What if Thanos, again, cannot kill Jason and sends Jason to what he thinks is Jason's demise, and it ends up being a parallel universe like the Dreamscape world, where he cannot die, but his body has been destroyed, but his spirit still remains in that realm. And then Jason can revive a body and morph it into his body, his original body. So there's that theory.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that actually is kind of a cool theory, because we know that the dream world is technically a different reality. It's just a copy of the first reality. So it's a copy of, you know, the Earth as it is in Freddy's world. It's just Freddy lives in that world, in the dream world.
And he's learned how to control it.
And he's learned how to manipulate people's dreams in order
to suit his needs.
What if Jason is able to go to that realm now that Freddy is technically dead? Because, you know, obviously, well, according to the one movie, he's not dead. He's just back in the dream world. But Freddy at this point, I think, is very weak. So the question becomes, can Jason survive in that realm without Freddy Krueger there, not doing anything? And that's a question that I'll leave everybody else to decide. But I think in terms of the advantage, Jason has the advantage here.
If we're talking about going in the dream world, Freddy knows how to manipulate it, and therefore... Jason.
Jason?
Yeah.
Jason here. Sorry, all you guys, you're Thanos fans. Take it out and go somewhere else.
Yes.
But Thanos is a great character. Again, I think Jason would have the advantage, even if... I'm not sure with the Infinity Gems if he would have the advantage then, but if he didn't have the Infinity Gems and that glove, there's no contest. Jason would just beat the shit out of him and then kill him afterwards. You know?
But it... Once again, as stated before, it would be an epic battle.
It would be. I mean, that's probably a 2-hour battle, if not more, of them going at it. Because you're talking Freddy versus Jason. It was almost, 45 minutes of a battle? 35 minutes of a battle?
And they were giving it their all.
Yeah.
Freddy was more of a showboat versus Jason, who wanted to cut to the point.
Oh, yeah. Jason just goes right for the kill. He doesn't really care about...
Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah. So is Deathstroke. Deathstroke is another one that goes straight for the kill.
Yeah.
And Punisher. Punisher's another one that sometimes will go right to the kill instead of worrying about, trying to get people to turn away. So, I mean, Thanos would go... Okay, I just wanted to make sure I was reading everything on the screen. So, alright, here's the next debate. Sub-Zero from Mortal Kombat versus Victor Freeze from DC.
Ooh.
Who would win in a battle to the death?
Are we talking about Sub-Zero after the Lin Kuei have been...
dismantled, yes.
Or I was going to say
remade or redone.
Yeah.
Yes, we're talking about what's his name? Not Bihan, because Bihan is technically Noob Saibot now.
Yeah.
This would be Kuai Liang. I believe that's how you pronounce it. But yes, so Kuai Liang versus Victor Fries. Who would win? This is kind of hard.
It is hard.
Because you got two characters that are motivated by
grief
and a lot of crap.
Oh yeah.
Not so much Sub-Zero. That's more Scorpion's thing because his family was killed.
And Scorpion believed that Sub-Zero is behind the entire thing.
Then you find out later on it's actually Quan Chi that masterminded the whole thing.
Yes.
But you have to take in consideration that Sub-Zero, and again, Leatherface is having some fun over there. And Jason's just looking at him like, dude, what the hell was wrong with you?
Itchy.
He's got headlights. Let him be alone. But okay, so Sub-Zero, we know his past. We know that he's upset that Bihan is killed, but he understands why he was killed. He was manipulated. Yes. So Sub-Zero in the video game becomes a cyber Sub-Zero at some point, and then gets turned back.
The cyber part was from Chronica in the newest Mortal Kombat, for Mortal Kombat 11, where he was able to get time reset.
Yes.
And then go back through again.
Yes.
But they didn't know it because only Chronica knew it.
Yeah. So in the original game, Kuai Liang is killed. Not killed, I'm sorry, not Kuai Liang. Bihan is killed. And he does not know that Quan Chi has resurrected him up at that moment. And then all of a sudden he realizes what Quan Chi has done.
Yes.
So he becomes Bihan.
Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot, my bad.
And little known fact, Noob Saibot is actually a martial art form. It's called Tobias Boone.
Yes.
Which is basically Noob Saibot.
Yeah.
Backwards.
Yeah. So we know Sub-Zero loses his brother, and then reforms the Lin Kuei.
Which Freeze?
We're talking Victor Fries, which Mr. Freeze from DC. So, and I'm going to make this very clear. Not the Arnold Schwarzenegger Mr. Freeze. I just want to make that very clear, because the last thing we want is a steroid Victor Freeze. I'm thinking more of the comic book Mr. Freeze.
Now, I'm a little fuzzy on Victor Fries and his upbringing on how he became Mr. Freeze. Okay. As in, how was it he was only able to survive in cold temperatures?
Okay, so he was experimenting with, again, this is going from
cryogenics.
Well, cryogenics, and not only my memory of the comic book that I read, which I think it came out in the 50s or 40s, something like that. And if I'm wrong, I apologize again. I don't really know dates and all that kind of stuff. But he was working on cryogenics to try to freeze his wife Nora, who has a very deadly disease. And I can't remember the name of the disease. But he figured out if he froze her, that she would be stable enough to one day find a cure, give her the cure, and then she would be healed, and then they could live out the rest of his life. Well, during the process, some people that he was working with in the facility wanted him to shut down the research because they were losing money. He was bleeding through money a lot because he was using it for new equipment, trying to do everything he could to save his wife. And then one of the guys, from what I understood, took, I think it was a wrench or something, and hit the side of a container that had this cold fusion stuff in the container. He went to go stop it, and the actual container leaked all over him.
Okay,
and then what it did was it froze his body in such a way that his body, after about an hour or so, started to adapt to cold temperatures. When it started to adapt, it just was a mutation from what I understood.
So it triggered kind of like a metagene inside his own bloodstream that mutated him, like in X-Men.
Yes. So he has to keep his body below freezing temperature in order for his body to sustain itself. This is where his suit comes in. His suit is designed to keep him at 0 degrees all the time.
Yes.
So he has to use a lot of different things in order to keep the suit from going above a certain temperature. Now, he can be out of the suit. He can survive in the suit, but he actually had to put a cold fusion device on his chest that wrapped around his body to keep his body cold, because he can no longer now do warm temperatures. So he is basically 0 degrees every single day.
In other words, he would be able to go to Antarctica and walk around in his underwear and not care.
Even if he had to go full commando, he could probably do that.
Oh, yeah.
You know? But, so the Victor Freeze that I remember growing up and reading about was very simple. Victor Freeze, he is obsessed with his wife Nora, saving her life. He will do whatever it takes to save her life. There have been people that have tried to shut her down, try to shut down the experiment that he has, and he's actually killed them for doing it.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's so in love with this woman,
Yeah.
and he's married her and everything. He tells Batman himself, look, I have nothing against you, but if you try to go near my wife, I don't care who you are.
Yep.
You're going down.
Yep. And there have been some epic battles between Batman and Mr. Freeze. I would take Sub-Zero. Okay. Again, there's no right or wrong answer on this. There's one thing, though, and I'm not sure if you're aware of the old TV show, Batman Beyond.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the Freeze episode?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What happened with Freeze? Do you remember?
Yes, I do. See, they had decapitated him and stuck his head in a jar, basically, so that way he could live. But I don't know if they ever found his wife Nora.
Okay.
Or anything. But in that old cartoon, that Freeze episode, they transferred his consciousness into that body of a different man.
Mm-hmm.
But some, I guess, unforeseen circumstance. The mutation that was originally inside his body was now leaking into the substitute body.
In the episode, from what I remember, they explained that the brain information, when they transferred, because it was actually his whole brain that actually put in the new body.
Okay.
They took the brain out because they thought that the brain had nothing to do with the mutation. They found out later that it actually did have part of the mutation gene in it. So when they transferred the brain...
And then when they were doing the experiments and everything, at first everything seemed fine.
Yep.
But when later on, when the temperature was 30 degrees,
yep,
he was sweating bullets like he was dying.
Uh-huh. And that mutation took over very quickly, and he didn't realize what was going on until it was already too late. And his rage picked right back up where it was, because now he's got this mutation again. He can't live without a suit.
And he said he put a suit like that was highly advanced for its time.
Yep.
Away for cold storage.
Yeah, I love that.
Honestly,
yeah,
that was a great one.
That was a great episode. And, yeah, I was going to say, in terms of the stories between the two, Sub-Zero and Victor Freeze, we have to consider their powers. Obviously, Victor Freeze doesn't have much in terms of powers because he uses a gun, the freeze gun, to...
Yes.
But Sub-Zero has an advantage in that because he can make his own freeze.
Yes.
Because of I think it's genetics, if I remember correctly.
I believe it is genetic.
His line through all of the... By the way, how is your...
room coming along?
Oh, it's coming along great, dude. I'm going to do another video here in about a week or so. I'm going to get... I got some furniture stuff I got to move in there. And it's going to be awesome. But, yeah, so you're talking about a genetic line for hundreds of years that has this special power, which is Sub-Zero's Lin Kuei, generation after generation has this unique freeze ability, cryomancy, I believe they call it.
I don't know.
I think it's cryomancy, if I remember. But yeah, you got this unique ability, and then you've got Victor Freeze, who uses a gun in order to have that particular ability. Now,
one is a scientist versus another one
who's just a regular person that is a tactician.
Yes.
So,
which one would be more... What's the word I'm looking for? Adaptable.
Yes. But here's the thing that someone brought up. If you put Sub-Zero and Victor Freeze together, Victor Freeze is already at 0 degrees temperature. So Sub-Zero really can't do a whole lot of damage in terms of using his freeze ability. Because Victor Freeze is already a frozen,
Popsicle,
Frozen Frankenstein is the guy actually wrote, and I love that, by the way. And thank you very much, Paul, for your wonderful use of words of Frozen Frankenstein. But yeah, so you got, I was going to say, I thought it was cryomancy. Thanks, Sean, for that. So you got Sub-Zero, who has the ability to use his freeze, but you also got Victor Freeze that can't take any damage from it. So Sub-Zero has to rely on just his martial arts to take down Victor Freeze. Now this is where Victor Freeze has an advantage over that too, because that suit of his. If he's in the suit, we learned in Batman, the video game, I don't know if you remember Batman Arkham City.
Yes.
Okay. The fight scene with Freeze.
I watched the cutscenes on that. I didn't actually get a chance to play it, but sorry.
That's okay.
Bad.
I just want people to hear you.
That was my fault. But I did watch the cutscenes, and that was definitely a good one.
Oh yeah. So, in that particular game, if you attack Freeze, Freeze learns what your attack is. So if you attack him from the front, Freeze actually puts like a frozen bubble around him to prevent you from attacking in the front.
Yes, like a ice shield.
Yes. If you attack him from the back, he actually throws out an ice blaster that comes out of the back. Mm-hmm. So you can't attack him from the back anymore, or else he knows exactly where you're coming from. If you attack him with there's magnets on the side of the room. If you use the magnets, he will walk around to the next magnet and be like, screw you, you're not using this magnet against me. And he will literally, So, I mean, the suit has advantages that Victor Freeze learns from. But as you learn in the game, he's very weak in terms of attacking him in a physical manner. You can attack him, and you just have to make sure you don't use the same tactic over and over again.
No, it's kind of like guerrilla warfare at that point. You have to make sure you hit him once, and then you go around quickly enough to hit him again and keep going at it until he's basically down on the ground, and you can say, I got you.
Yeah, agreed. So in that aspect, Victor Freeze does have a slight advantage, but now we have to come to the winner. And a lot of people are probably going to be like, really? Really? You're going to do that?
Hey.
Who's your winner?
My winner? I'd have to go with Cryomancy of Sub-Zero.
And this is where I'm going to go differently. I'm going to go
Victor.
With Victor Freeze. I think if he has the suit, he has a little bit more of an advantage over Sub-Zero. But, I'm going to say this. If he does not have the suit, Sub-Zero easily wins.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's no way he can protect himself. Sub-Zero may be able to freeze him, but Sub-Zero will also be able to kill him with physical combat.
Yes.
But with that suit, a hell of a lot worse for Sub-Zero.
Oh, yeah.
So, the next fight, I thought this was actually kind of interesting between these particular people. Deadshot versus a character that not too many people remember. Blade.
Oh, Blade.
So a lot of people, for those who don't know Blade is an African-American vampire.
Half.
Thank you. Half vampire, half human. He was bit, his mother was bit by a vampire.
While still pregnant.
And she was taken to the hospital while she was pregnant. She gave birth to Blade, and immediately after birth, the doctors noticed that there was something completely wrong, but they couldn't figure out what it was. They did a whole bunch of tests on him, and they just simply could not figure out what is going on.
Oh no, they couldn't. They were like, what the...
So they said, from what I understood now, the comic book is different than the movies. I have all 3 of the movies, and I just watched the movies not that long ago. In the movies, they don't really go into detail.
No, they don't.
But in the comic book, from what I remember, they gave this child, after the mother died, they gave this child to an adoption agency, and the adoption person, from what I understood, again, this might be a comic that came out, and it might have been a different story, because they always do that. They make like 30 different comics on a character.
Yeah, and they also do alternate timelines, this versus that.
Yeah.
It's totally up to you on which one you would like to focus in.
So the one that I'm going to talk about is the Blade one, where he is in the orphanage, and one of the ladies, I don't remember if she was a nun or if she was a caretaker of the orphanage, Blade ends up biting her. And doesn't bite her hard, just bites her enough to poke the skin, and he tastes his first blood. It was at that moment that this particular person freaked out and threw him out of the orphanage. Literally picked him up, and he was like 3 or 4 at this moment in his life. So he's on his own now. He's walking the streets, and he's pretty much attacking anybody he can for blood, because he doesn't understand what is going on with his body.
All he knows is that he has this incredible thirst.
Yes.
And it can't be quenched unless he drinks blood.
So there's a man by the name of Whistler, and if you guys remember, the movie's totally different than the books. Yes, absolutely, I agree with that.
Oh, yes, definitely.
So Blade runs into Whistler. Whistler is the old man in the movies, if you guys have seen the movies. He explains a little bit in the movie that he found him, and he knew that there was something wrong with him, that he knew that he was vampiric because Whistler's family was killed by a vampire. And he toyed with the killing of his family. And he, right after his family was killed, he made himself a promise that he would avenge them by killing every single vampire he could. But unfortunately, when Blade and Whistler meet, Whistler is much older, and he's not able to physically go after the vampires.
So, at that point, he decides, you know what? I'm going to train this boy.
Yep. So he finds Blade and basically teaches Blade at a young age how to fight, how to defend himself, and how to use a katana. And then they start creating different weapons in order to help Blade kill as many vampires as possible. And Blade ends up being pretty much a crack shot at killing vampires all over.
Oh, yeah.
The other person we're talking about is Deadshot. Deadshot, I don't remember his whole backstory, but I do remember that he is... Oh, boy. Okay, it just went into the thing real quick. It's saying I need to... There we go. There we go. Alright, sorry about that, guys. But, yeah, so... Wait. It paused it, did it? Did it? Oh, it turned it off. My bad, hold on. Hold on, I want some background for you guys.
Well, here, let's pick up the controllers and continue on.
Man, they're just gonna see my wife's name anyway.
You did what?
Yeah, but so Deadshot is a assassin. He's one of the greatest assassins that has ever come through, and he knows how to kill. I mean, he can hit people from long distances, and he's got some really big arsenal on his persons. So, based on the armory alone on Deadshot, Deadshot has the advantage of being able to take out Blade from a distance, but here's the thing about Blade. Blade also has
all the vampire abilities
and regeneration. He can regenerate a little bit. Not as fast as Wolverine or Deadpool, I think.
No.
But he can redo his whole body and set it up in a way that he's able to
give himself more strength or
give
more
him more strength, allow his body to heal. So even if Deadshot takes a shot at him and hits him in an area, there's a probability that he's going to go to sleep, and then a couple hours later, there's not going to even be a wound there.
Well, now you're going into the possibility of him getting away.
Yes.
But with Deadshot, you did not consider the fact that if Deadshot wants you dead, you're going to get dead.
Yeah. That's the thing about Deadshot that makes this argument or this debate pretty interesting, is that Deadshot has this thing where he will not stop until the target is dead. It's kind of like Deathstroke. Deathstroke also has that mentality. I will not stop until that target is dead. Yeah. So we know Deadshot can take people down from a hell of a distance, because in almost every comic that I remember reading, there were distances that seemed almost impossible that he was ricocheting his shots off of and then actually hitting the person in the head. And we're talking, the average sniper that I was reading can hit up to 300 to 350 yards away.
And that's a pretty big distance there.
That's average, and that's not distance. But what if, because of Blade's vampiric abilities, what if he can hear the shot from a distance?
That is a good point.
Vampires are super sensitive hearing.
Yes.
They can hear human beings from miles and miles away.
And not only that, let's throw a monkey wrench into the mix. Say he does hear the shot. Even though a half-breed like Blade has the ability to hear and sense different things, he in
the water.
And then he'll be able to pick up on where he is. A lot of people near it.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, that's where it is. That's where I need to go.
Yeah.
And that person is trying to kill me.
Yeah.
Even the smallest little drop of blood could send Blade there into a frenzy.
Yeah.
To Deadshot and literally just kill him in a matter of minutes.
Absolutely. So that's the thing with, Blade, not only hearing, using his super sensitive senses, is it possible that Blade could not only smell Deadshot, but again hear him? Now, maybe not necessarily see him. I mean, he's 2,000 yards away, or if not more. There's a possibility he could smell him. There's a possibility that he could hear him breathing from a distance, or maybe his heartbeat. I think in terms of the advantage of who is at the advantage right at this moment, it's Blade.
Yes, Blade does have that ability to go do that, but Deadshot also, if he's a master tactician, like some of the others that we have mentioned, then he's already thought ahead that, okay, I'm going to need a special kind of bullet.
Yep.
I'm going to need this. I'm going to need that. And he's already like 5 steps ahead of Blade.
Yep.
Blade, on the other hand, doesn't know much, even though he's over 2,000 yards away. Blade knows, okay, someone's trying to kill me, and hopefully I can just grab them in the time it would take for them to run down to a car.
Oh, yeah.
Or get to an airstrip.
Oh, yeah.
If he's already a tactician and everything like that, then Deadshot is going to have 5 steps ahead. He's already going to have multiple bullets on him that can kill Blade, and he's already going to have multiple different gadgets, period.
Yeah.
Because if he's going after Blade as a target, then he's going to want to know every little detail.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The other thing that kind of makes me wonder with, Deadshot being a tactician, even if he doesn't know Blade in terms of what he is, in terms of being a vampire, he learns very quickly what his target is able to do. Because Deadshot, from what I remember, part of his tactician was always watching his target first and then making a decision on how to take them out.
Yes.
But there's also a disadvantage to this. If he goes close to Blade, Blade will know where he is.
Oh, yes.
And sense the heartbeat, the smell, because he is a human being. But the question is, would Deadshot have enough knowledge to know I got to stay back, or I got to make sure that if I'm going towards a person of this particular caliber, of a vampire caliber, is he going to know where I'm at before I even get to him?
That is a good point.
So Blade has that advantage of having it. Okay, there's nobody on there right now, but that's okay.
Oh.
But we're still doing this, and it's still going to get uploaded anyway. But Blade has that advantage of being able to smell and be able to understand that the target is watching him. Deadshot, he's got an advantage of being the tactician, but the question is, really, is he smart enough to stay back, maybe mask his odor somehow? Because somebody told me that there's a thing where people can actually use certain things like holy water and garlic to kind of prevent vampires from smelling you at a distance. But the question is, does that really work? Nah, I'm like you in that aspect.
That's controversial at that point. There's been so many different things about vampires throughout the years, whether it be real, Vlad the Impaler,
yeah,
or fictional.
Like my ex-lawyer.
Oh, that's great. That's a good one. But you really don't know, because you gotta take some sort of grain of salt with everything that you
absolutely.
hear. And a wise person once told me, within a myth or a legend, there happens to be a grain of truth.
Yeah.
So the question being is, what is the truth?
Oh, yeah. Totally. In terms of who would win, my heart is kind of like at a 50-50 standstill, because I like both characters.
Oh yeah, both of them are, let's face it, badass until down to the core.
Yeah. But based on advantage, I got to give it up to Blade.
I'm literally on the fence of this too, because I don't know exactly who would be better.
Yeah, that's the biggest problem that I have. But the reason I'm selecting Blade as the winner is because just having those abilities to be able to smell, and because of the possibility of being able to hear, and all those senses that vampires have to hunt down prey. Plus, we also know that Blade is able to make weapons based off of the training that he's received from Whistler.
Yes.
I think that in a battle to the death, unless Deadshot is very far away, we're talking 3,000 yards, if not more.
Another continent.
Yeah. If we're talking a massive distance where Blade's abilities cannot make him determine where Deadshot is, Deadshot's got to take him out from a distance.
Oh yeah. If he tried it up at close encounter,
and it's got to be either a headshot or a heart shot that he's got to go for. So I mean,
and it has to be the specialized version of the weapons that can actually kill him.
Yeah, so it's got to be a weapon that has because Blade is immune to sunlight, so sunlight doesn't hurt him at all. I mean, he could be in the day and nothing happens to him.
So according to myth, There's Silver. Silver also works on vampires.
Yep.
And Wood.
Yep. The old steak through the heart.
Yeah.
See, I prefer a nice juicy steak, medium well. But
let's not forget the baked potato.
Oh yeah, the baked potato.
Cream.
You gotta have the mushroom and onion with it.
I haven't had baked potato with mushroom and onion.
Oh, you've never had that?
No.
Oh, it's so damn good. You mix that with the steak. Oh.
Oh, on the steak?
Oh yeah, you mix both of them together.
Oh, then I've had the mushroom on the steak, but not the onion.
Oh, you gotta have mushroom onion on both. It is so damn good.
On the potato, on the other hand,
if you do green beans, you gotta have bacon on the green beans.
A bacon vinaigrette.
Yes, it's very good.
Okay, we got off topic.
That's okay. We always get off topic, but
it's okay.
That's the cool thing about this particular program. I like doing is that we may go off topic, but we always come back. But again, I think the advantage is Blade over Deadshot. And again, my heart hurts saying that, and I wish it wasn't so, but I just think that Blade has a little bit more of an advantage over Deadshot in that aspect.
I'm going to have to go with undecided.
Okay, so you're going null and void.
Neutral.
Neutral. I can't make that decision. There's not enough info.
We need literally more info on it, but I can't think of anything at this point.
I think, again, if we set it up where, you've got Deadpool, or not Deadpool, I'm sorry.
Deadshot.
Deadshot versus Blade. You have to consider every little detail, and then that's just really hard to decide whether or not one is going to win over the other. But again, I just think there's little tiny advantages that one has over the other, and it's just minute, advantages.
But then again, that minute advantage or disadvantage could mean the difference between life and death.
And then that's the other thing, both of them have advantages. Like I said, the distance alone from Deadshot could theoretically kill Blade in one shot. But the question is, can he ricochet bullets off of certain things enough to get enough force?
And you gotta keep in consideration, Blade does have that super hearing, and if he hears that shot being fired and it ricochets the once and then he hears it a second time, he's going to be going, okay, you know what, something ain't right here.
Absolutely. So that's where I think we stand on that. And the last one before we leave tonight, there's one last one, and I thought that this was actually kind of cool. That someone actually said, you need to put these two together just because it's a battle that a lot of people would love to see. Superman versus Thor.
That is a good one.
So, we know Thor is a god. That yes. I know. I don't know everything. Yeah, I don't know everything about Thor.
Not many people do.
I know he is a god. I know he has his brother Loki.
Mm-hmm.
He is a man that knows how to use lightning. And Clark Kent, a.k.a. Superman, is a very strong individual, but very weak against, what's that one crystal called?
Red kryptonite? Green
kryptonite? Yeah. Green kryptonite, I think it is.
Okay, red kryptonite and blue kryptonite, they do different things to the people that are Kryptonians.
Yeah.
But green kryptonite is the ultimate one that basically shuts them down.
Yeah, it literally could kill. And we learned that in the one comic book, I believe it's called Superman's Dead. I think someone killed him with kryptonite from what I remember.
Yes.
And he ended up dying, and everybody was like, holy crap, you just killed Superman.
Kind of like in the Justice League movie when they tried to bring him back.
Yeah, and they did eventually.
They did, but he was so distraught from returning back that the soul didn't know how to prepare.
Yeah. So the question is, between these two in a death match, who would win? So we have to look at the way that these two are made and trained. Superman doesn't have any formal training. I mean, we see him in an early life where he just basically grows up on a farm, you know?
And farm life is tough for the farmers that grow up in it, but they don't realize it is tough. It takes like a city slicker to come out and say, gee, that's tough, and you'll hear them laugh at you.
Yeah. So we know he grows up in a farm, and we know he grows up in a farm life. We know that he starts to learn that there's something different about him. He doesn't put his finger on it until, from what I remember of the comic, he starts running on a train and realizes that he can run actually faster than the train, and then realizes that there's something going on. So he puts two and two together that he's got some special abilities.
Yeah.
And he tells his mom, and his mom's like, no, you don't want to tell people you have this. You're special, but if you tell people, they're going to kill you. Or something to that effect.
Yes.
So he pretty much stays on the low key, and then when he gets old enough, he moves out to New York, or Metropolis.
Yes.
He moves to Metropolis.
Which is like New York.
Yeah, and he works for a local paper and becomes a reporter. And
the
then that's
Daily Planet.
Yep, and he meets Lois Lane, which ends up being the love of his life. And him and, Lois, there's a little bit of a what-if situation. I'll bring that up later.
Yeah.
But Thor, on the other hand, he grows up as a god.
Oh, yes.
So he grows up his whole life knowing that he has all these abilities. And I don't remember where he gets the hammer from. I don't remember any of the comic books talking about the hammer.
I'm not too familiar with the comic books. I can only go off of what I've seen from the movie of Avengers Endgame. No.
Yeah, I have to watch it. I haven't watched it in a long time.
Anyway, Thor goes to one of the areas that used to make weapons, specially designed weapons, and he opens up the star. While he's getting blasted with the star's radiation, it's also heating up to make Stormbreaker.
Okay.
So you got him making Stormbreaker like that. Now, are we just doing Stormbreaker, or are we doing Mjolnir?
Well, I mean, we can cover everything, honestly.
Mjolnir was basically given to him and passed down from, again, the movie with his sister having the hammer in her hand because it chose her as being worthy. But then when it was passed down, Thor and Loki didn't know they had a sister.
Yeah.
It wasn't revealed till later on.
That's what I thought.
So, Superman and Thor. Well, Thor can survive space.
Yes.
Without a suit.
Yes. Just like Superman.
Yes.
Now, in terms of strength-wise, I think Superman's got the advantage.
Yes.
But in terms of weakness, Superman is extremely weak. If
so
Thor,
one thing.
Yeah. If Thor gets his hand on it. Now, Thor's smart enough to know or figure out what Superman is weak against.
Yes.
I think he's got that type of intelligence. The Thor that I relate to is the one in the comic where he is a very big tactician in terms of fighting. If he knows an enemy is weak against something, he will not hesitate to use that weakness for his advantage.
And then after that, he's going to be doing copious amounts of damage, beat him up, and say, you know what? I thought you'd be tougher.
Yep.
Smack talk him and literally smack him around.
And that's the thing that I think I like about Thor is that he likes to put a little comic spin on, him beating someone's ass.
Or just before the battle begins, he's literally egging them on to come after him.
Absolutely. And that's the thing that I like about Thor is that he doesn't really have a filter, per se. He doesn't sit there and go, you know, I expect this over this, you know.
Oh, yeah.
He just straight out just says what he wants to say, doesn't give a shit. And then you got Superman, though, who's more reserved. He doesn't want the public to mistrust him. He doesn't want the public to... I'm on movies, so they let this go out. But
Okay.
he doesn't want the public to look at him any different as a superhuman person. He just wants people to understand that he is who he is. He's Superman. He's stronger, he's faster, he's smarter than the average person. When he was growing up on that farm, he became more humble. But then this is where the story kind of goes a little bit. Because if you remember, when he gets resurrected in the movie,
Yes.
in the Justice League movie, he gets pissed.
Well, yeah, he even looks at Batman as he's strangling him and says, "You won't let me live and you won't let me die."
Yeah. Well, I remember
that right there.
The best line I think in that one is, "Do you bleed?" That was probably the best line, because if you remember in the first part of Batman versus Superman, Batman asks him, "Do you bleed?"
Yeah.
So he bringing him back into that comment that he made. You could see it in Batman's look, like, "Oh shit, I'm fucked.
I stepped in it this big this time, and I hope to God that he's listening and he smites him."
I hope the people for Batman and Superman are actually listening to this, because that'd be kind of cool that they're actually...
Oh, yes, it would be most definite.
I'll get a tweet from somebody saying, "We love the show, keep it up," you know. But yeah, so with Batman and Superman and
Thor.
Thank you. I keep going off track. Today's
okay.
one of those days.
We all do that.
Yeah.
It's no big deal.
It sucks when you work so many hours and then you get home and you're just like exhausted. So
and you don't want to do a damn thing, and you're like,
yeah, pretty much. You just want to drink beer and just sit there. So
yes.
But in terms of the advantage between the two, I'm gonna go with Thor on this one, only because I think Thor is smart enough to figure out how to use Superman's weakness against him.
But Superman only has the one weakness.
Yeah, that's the thing that I kind of...
Mental weaknesses, he's got several.
Yes.
Physical weakness, he's only got one.
So, I think if Thor could figure out, he's got the advantage right then and there in terms of intelligence, figuring out that kryptonite could incapacitate Superman or kill him. So I think Thor has that advantage, that he could win the battle. But if it's just a straight-on fight between Superman and Thor, Superman
hands down
would whoop his ass 6 ways from Sunday. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Especially when he doesn't have to worry about kryptonite being put in his cereal that morning.
Exactly. If he doesn't have to worry about kryptonite, period, Superman hands down.
And I will say that, oh boy.
That was unexpected. Sorry about the unforeseen noise.
That's okay. See, that's why, yeah, you may want to readjust it. I think it's the other way.
Yeah. Sorry once again.
Don't you just love when you're doing a show and everything just kind of messes up? So, there we go, man. Now you got it.
I did it. I went and got that diplomat so I can screw things on.
I'm so proud of you.
Oh my goodness. Sorry. We're both a little odd.
Yeah, I was just saying, you know, I like being a little odd. You know, this show is always going to be odd, you know, it's just the way it is. So, yeah. Okay, but we'll wait till you get that back up.
I'm trying, but that thing is just sliding.
You may have to move it to a different section of the table. That's what I had to do because it kind of bent the plastic a little bit.
Okay. And I just hit my head with that.
Yeah.
Once again, that is my head.
Yeah, as I say, it just went poof,
Shh. Did you hear anything?
I didn't hear anything.
Uh-oh, we got a problem with that.
Hi, ACN. Welcome. We're actually in Ohio, believe it or not. Welcome. We were just talking about Superman versus Thor, and who would win in a battle to the death. And we both have our opinions. We just talked about the powers of both of them. In a straight-up fight, I think Superman would win based on what he is doing. But if Thor figures out that kryptonite is Clark's
weakness,
we're talking that Thor will have the house advantage, so to speak.
Oh, you're from Thailand. Well, thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're actually going to be on Game Ahead Radio, and I'll put a link to the actual show here, and you can actually go on it, and it will be uploaded tonight. I'm going to do a little bit of stuff, and then I'm going to put this on, and you'll be able to actually listen to the episode and enjoy it and have fun. So
remember one thing, though. This is all opinionative.
Yeah, it's all there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I mean, we're just talking about basic theories on what could happen. There's the link for Game Ahead Radio. You guys are welcome to go check it out. But yeah, so in terms of the battle between Thor and Superman, again, straight battle, Superman would win. If Thor figures out how to use kryptonite, Thor would win. Just based on Superman's weaknesses. We know Superman can be killed. It's been proven in the comics he's been killed before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's pretty much it. So, caught us at the end of the show. I figured go for about an hour. We did an hour and 30 minutes, man.
Uh-oh.
So,
shh, don't tell your parents.
Don't tell your parents.
They might know.
They might find out and know later. But yeah,
it's all good.
Yeah. So thank you guys so much for joining us today. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, don't forget to go on to Game Ahead Radio on Spotify. It's on Spotify. It's on a whole bunch of different podcasting, like I think it's on Apple Podcast, and I believe it's on iHeartRadio. So, I mean, it's all over. I mean, you can literally get the show from anywhere. God bay. I think that he means good day. So, but again, thank you guys so much for joining, and we're right here. You guys can see us. We got
hi.
In the back.
Here's a hand.
There's a hand. We're gonna get Brian here in the shot since my head is too big.
Your head is not big.
There's Brian right there.
Oh my goodness, I'm hidden.
There you are.
And in case anybody would like to know, this hoodie I'm currently wearing is 100% designed by me. It says Biohazard. I am contagious. Give me a hug.
And wouldn't you know that shirt actually fits his personality?
Because during the middle of the pandemic, I got tired of everybody saying 6 feet apart, do this, don't do that. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make it so everybody has their own choice.
Yep.
And now they can obviously read if they have the ability or want to.
Absolutely. So I'm gonna put this back over here. Yo, get the camera back over there. Here we go. Alright, so that's
all
good
right
for right now. But again, thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope you guys enjoyed the show. And again, we will be doing more of these with Brian. Brian, thank you so much for being on. And
even though I'm slightly crazy and I have my own personal way of looking at stuff.
You're not crazy. You're just mentally challenged.
I am not. How dare you?
Hey, you know what I say to that? I got some really good pills over here if you want to try them.
Really? I'm on this one particular brand. Oh, wait. We're still streaming.
Yeah, we're still streaming. Oh, crap. But we got this very special brand of pills, and the doctor prescribed them to me, and they make me not, like, talk to the voices in my head anymore.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. There's the one voice in my head who has bad ideas.
Bad ideas.
And yet they are so much fun when I act on it.
You do too?
Yeah!
Oh, shoot. I thought I was the only one that listened to the voices in my head.
Oh, no.
There's this voice in my head, John. He's always interrupting. Shut up, John. I'm not talking to you. He's always interrupting me. But anyway. We hope you guys enjoyed our little humor. Me and Brian always have a good sense of humor while we're doing this program. And that's just something that me and him have always done. And again, thank you, Brian, so much for joining me on Gamehead Radio here.
It's
live
no
on YouTube.
problem. And by the way, we're not making fun of anybody with any mental disorders or diseases or anything like that. We just go back and forth because we enjoy each other's company.
Well, in my defense, I actually have mental diseases, so, I mean, I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm
Terribly sorry about that.
That's okay. I mean...
I have my own personal
everybody's
brand
perfect.
of psychosis that I use on a daily basis.
Yeah, you know, I found out, like, I have a couple things that I didn't know that I had, so, I mean, it's kind of cool, and I'll tell you later afterwards, so...
Okay.
But, yeah, thanks, everybody, for joining us. We hope you guys enjoyed the show, and, again, we will do this very, very soon. Good night, and,
have a good evening, take care, and don't do anything bad or act on any impulses without first consulting your friends, family, or the voices in your head.
Don't do anything I would do.
Don't do anything I would do.
I was going to say, you do that, and the cops will be very friendly with you. Especially with the one with the rubber glove. They're surprisingly gentle.
If you get the nice one.
If you get the nice one. Man, if you get Officer Hurley, man, I mean, she tries to go around...
Hurley?
Like,
You had Hurley?
yeah, I was going to say, she put her, her whole hand up there like rotor. I mean, goddamn.
Well, at least she's making sure. She's being thorough.
Everybody's going to be listening to this podcast later like, what the hell?
This is brought to you by two crazy people. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, what's that one thing? There's an actual thing, mental drug. I can't remember the name of it, but it's brought to you. It's brought to you by Fuck It All.
When you are down and low and you can't feel anything beneath your feet, fuck it all.
Fuck It All. A nice brand of lots of drugs. Lots of drugs.
Warning, do not use with alcohol or operating heavy machinery. You could very well potentially do something very bad.
Side effects include your wiener falling off, your other parts falling off.
Or
you believe in your Santa Claus. You believe that you are Bigfoot, Sasquatch, or many other ape-like creatures. Or Taco Tuesdays.
well, yeah, I mean,
Taco Tuesdays, you can't deny.
no, I can't.
Alright, guys. Good night, everybody.
And take care. I'm being honest. Have a good night.
Yeah, have a great night, everybody. Thank you guys so much for watching again. Bye-bye!